Okay, so hello everyone. Welcome to the third episode of Women in Veterinary #Choose to Challenge. So today we have our guest, Dr. Srijana Manandhar. She is a senior veterinary officer at National Vaccine Production Laboratory of Government of Nepal, and she's also the newly elected member of Nepal Veterinary Council. Regarding her professional background, she's also a pet clinician at Patan Veterinary Clinic and also a former livestock development officer from 2009 to 2018. And I would also like to go a brief on her educational background. And yes, it goes. She holds a master's degree in dairy production from Michigan State University, and she's also a 2006 graduate of Bachelor in Veterinary Science and Animal Husbandry from Institute of Agriculture and Animal Science. Similarly, she completed her high school from St. Xavier's College, Maitigar. So we have I see our guest already there joining us. So without further ado, I think we can invite our guest for today's episode. Let me send a request. Hello, ma'am. Namaste.
Hello. Good evening.
Good evening, ma'am. सन्चै हुनुहुन्छ?
सन्चै छु तपाईलाई
Okay. I'm also a bit nervous, but yes, सन्चै नै छु भनौं. And welcome to the Instagram live, ma'am.
Thank you and namaste to all the viewers as well.
Yes, I think they will like to join and leave the way down. So we have already 10 people in. So I think do ice breaking type ko bhन्छ नि ma'am. So I think let's start with like how was your Saturday as a
Oh, all of my days are hectic, including Saturdays. So today I went to the clinic in the morning. We had few cases and a surgery, a spaying.
Okay.
So that's how my Saturdays start. And sorry?
So even on Saturday you work?
Yes. All vets work 365 days a year.
I think that must be true, eh? तपाईबाट आउँदाखेरि चाहिँ. So yeah, okay. Ma'am. मैले चाहिँ like different यो पुरै interview session चाहिँ like different categorize गरेर गरेको छु हैन. So I would go and walk you through those different categories and questions you accordingly. So without like let's get into business भने जस्तै let's start with like your veterinary journey, like how like why did you get into the veterinary college and what was your main inspiration behind it?
So to be quite honest, vet field was not my first choice, to be honest. Maybe it's the same with most of us. So after I could not get a scholarship in MBBS, I didn't try for a paid MBBS. So then my dad was an agriculture engineer. So that's the reason I went to get a form from the then ISTU. And the first exam was of BVSC and AH. And when I got a scholarship in that, I did not try for BSc AG. So that's how. And one more driving factor was my love for dogs. मलाई बच्चादेखि नै कुकुरहरू एकदमै मन पर्थ्यो. I've had dogs my whole life. So that's also one reason why I chose veterinary degree.
So okay, it started because तपाईलाई MBBS चाहिँ त्यहाँ just it started from going to the medical field.
During our era, maybe 90% of us, whoever did not were not successful in getting an MBBS degree would come in here. But I think the scenario has changed right now. Maybe there are so many students and vet sector I don't think it was very forward. For you guys, all the sectors are open, not just government, private sector also they are open. And even in my era, poultry sector and feed industries were upcoming. But nutrition sector was also upcoming, and I also joined like Nimbus Nepal, and it was an upcoming industry. So I think you guys have tremendous opportunities if you opt for a veterinary degree. I think you have tremendous opportunities, even in Nepal.
I also believe so, ma'am. किनभने अहिले त्यो सिनारियो चेन्ज भइरहेछ हजुरले भने जस्तै a lot of like
Uh-huh.
young हुन्छ नि प्लस टू पढिरहेको भाइ बहिनीहरूले पनि भन्छ कि how to get into this field because their first priority
Uh-huh.
is like veterinary degree ne. So with that
Yes.
I went through your bio and then it said like you started your bachelor in the year 2001, right?
Yes.
So it's been already 20 years, है तपाईँले पहिले नै भनिसक्नुभयो. But then just
Mm-hmm.
very curious to know like what was it then like in your bachelor life? Okay, the bachelor life cost 20 years back. We are still in here, you know? And how was it for
Okay.
you?
For me, I was a city kid. म काठमाडौँमा जन्मेर हुर्केको. So I was a complete city kid. My dad was against me going there to study in a kind of village भनौँ न. त्यतिखेर it was really sometimes you'd get on a tractor and get the firewood for the mess ko लागि हामी tractor चढेर firewood. I stood everything. My dad he kind of thought that I would not go through it. Like मेरो family political background भएको थिएन. And then Rampur College was a highly politicized
It's still
campus. It's
yeah.
still, but fortunately, during my 5 years stay at Rampur, it went quite smooth, and we finished our degree less than 5 years, maybe. किनभने we started around ASOS, and then हामीले हाम्रो final exam वैशाखमा दिइसकेका थियौँ, so we were quite quick.
Wow. I think that you guys like तपाईँहरूको batch चाहिँ first batch होला जसले यो भनेको छ on time सक्यो भनेर. On time भन्दा नि earlier सक्यो.
Yeah, it was earlier. त्योभन्दा अगाडि certain incidentहरू भएको रहेछ. We were lucky that no incident happened. And for me, Rampur, especially अब इनर तराई भयो हैन, इनर तराईको वेदर पनि मेरो लागि गाह्रो थियो. अब म सुरुमा जाँदाखेरि मेरो हेल्थ वाइज पनि मलाई अलिकति गाह्रो भएको थियो. अब र्यासेसहरू आउँथ्यो, घमौराहरू धेरै आउँथ्यो हैन. अनि त्यो सबैलाई छिछोल्दै हैन, साइकल पेल्दै सिकियो.
Yes, well, I can resonate with you, ma'am. Oily pani, right? It still has like very similar. Rampur is much more similar. Double one So
When you
2000,
said that
yeah.
you have a quiz today, it also brought me back to my days when I would just go like there would be impromptu quiz. People would like think that as a quiz दिने भनेर अनि त्यसपछि date fix गर्नुहुन्थ्यो. अब हाम्रोमा त we were just 20 of us. So it was quite easy to, communicate with each other and, have a consensus as a quiz दिने भनेर. But maybe अहिले तपाईहरुलाई अलिकति गाह्रो हुन सक्छ because you guys are a bit more in number, right?
Yes, we are like 52. You're just 20 then.
Yes,
wow.
Only 20.
Ma'am, त्यतिखेर त्यो record नै 20 हुन्थ्यो कि कस्तो like?
Actually, it was 25. 15 was scholarship, and the rest 10 were IDF. IDF ma pani maybe there was a staff quota or something like that.
Oh, wow.
5 of them left. 5 of them left, and we were 20 of us remaining.
So, among those 20, they like what was the ratio of boys and girls?
Oh, we had a very good ratio of girls. We were 1/4 of us girls, and 25 ma we were 7 of us girls. So at that time when our batch started, we were the 7th batch, and we were the last batch for the yearly syllabus. Last batch of the yearly syllabus. And 7 जना केटीहरु आउने भयो भनेपछि it was like a flood of girls. केटीहरुको बहार आयो, बाढी आयो भनेर त्यहाँ कुरा चलेको.
Before तपाईँको senior batch मा चाहिँ कति जना थिए नि दिदीहरु?
There were just 2 of them. Immediate senior जम्मा 2 जना मात्रै हुनुहुन्थ्यो.
Wow.
That's why बाढी आयो.
बाढी नै आएको रहेछ. Oh, yeah. अहिले चाहिँ हाम्रो क्लास 52 इनरोल हुन्छ अनि आई थिंक हाम्रो ब्याचमा चाहिँ 1/4 अब नै भयो 17 to 15 चाहिँ गर्ल्स छ अहिले हाम्रो ब्याचमा चाहिँ. So yeah, the number is rising and I think it's good also. So त्यतिखेरको समयमा र अहिले चाहिँ लाइक डिफरेन्ट नै हुन्छ होला हैन, बट त्यो तपाईको पालोमा भनौं न त्यतिखेर भेटनेरियन अर भेटनेरी स्टुडेन्टलाई पर्सिभ गर्ने पर्सेप्सन चाहिँ कस्तो थियो म्याम?
स्टुडेन्टलाई पर्सिभ गर्ने?
Yeah. Firstly, like student as well as the profession itself.
त्यतिखेर we were but bit naive about, we didn't know anything about the profession itself. Veterinarian बन्नु छ भनेर गयो. Then we went with the flow, whatever our seniors did. We used to bury some dead animals, and so that the later batches would collect the bones and stuff like that. त्यस्तो गरियो. We would just wake up at 5, go to the farms just to learn milking. त्यस्तो कुराहरु गरियो. So we were a bit naive. We wouldn't know that यो कुराले later stage मा हामीलाई यो चीजमा help गर्छ भनेर. We wouldn't just relate to it. At least I wouldn't relate to it. किनभने I was not focused on what I would want to do in the end. First year I was not focused that I will want to join the government or I would want to go to the private sector. त्यतिखेर I was going with the flow भनौं न. And vet profession, yeah, it was upcoming. It was a new thing. It was upcoming, and more since I was पढेको, so मेरो 99% friends they went for MBBS study भनौं न. So I was the minimum मान्छे. So साथीहरुले जोक गर्नुहुन्थ्यो, अब त्यो भेडा बिरामी भयो भेडी पठाइदिनु पर्यो भन्ने टाइपको. भेडी बिरामी भयो भेडा पठाइदिनु पर्यो भन्ने टाइपको त्यस्तो जोकहरु गर्नुहुन्थ्यो. That was a minimal thing, but I used to get ever since I was in internship, I would get phone calls. Phone calls say मेरो कुकुरलाई यस्तो भयो, what would you suggest भने. I've been getting those calls ever since I was in my intern. So अहिलेसम्म पनि it's going on.
It's going on, and then you have to also work on Saturday for day, ma'am. Okay.
Don't get overwhelmed. That's my choice because I'm not in practice during my weekdays. I mean, it's full-time practice for Matsuina. I choose this for myself, that I work the extra time that I have. I will work as a clinician. That's the only reason I work on Saturday. So you guys don't get overwhelmed. You can totally choose on how much you want to work.
Yeah, so okay. Ma'am, त्यो हजुरले अब भन्नुभएको जस्तै इन्टर्नशिपदेखि नै कल आइसक्यो भनेपछि लाइक अब त्यतिखेर त ग्रेजुएसनको टाइम पनि त थियो नि हैन. त्यतिखेर चाहिँ लाइक कुनै एङ्सियसनेस थियो कि द्याट what you want to do, or like अब म कहाँ जाने, कुन फिल्ड समात्ने, किनभने भेटनरीको धेरै डाइमेन्सन हुन्छ. And then what was like the scenario for you during your graduation or your internship or when you were leaving the bachelor life?
During my internship, I was really active. Like I used my difficult topic choose gare. First of all, where I used to go to 3 different places in a day to collect blood from hyperthermic dogs. यति difficult topic कसैले पनि choose गर्नु भएन. So and it was a really new topic. So मेरो लागि old thesisहरु हेरेर मलाई कहीं support पनि भएन. I had to look into the international journals, international studyहरुमै हेर्नु पर्यो. So at that time I was really into the work. I would just run around. I was really lean, half of the weight that I am in right now. And I used to just run around. I didn't have a vehicle back then, but I would just use the public vehicle and go everywhere. And even when there's a ruminotomy and stuff like that, CVHU, Central Veterinary Hospital, when there was a ruminotomy, I ruined my sky blue jeans at that time because of the ruminotomy. So anything that happens, I used to be there. And मेरो आफ्नै research को लागि पनि I would just take the blood, go run to the government lab, and then just do all the procedures of finding the parasite and do the the differential blood counts and everything. So intern was really into it.
So you were like a bit more inclined to the clinical sector.
Yeah, सुरुदेखि नै I was really inclined to it. And intern ko, I told you that first year I was naive, but until I was in the 5th year or in the internship, I was like more into like more masters surgery ma garchu, more life bhari na ma clinician hunchu. That was my ambition. That was my ambition, but at that time it was not like feasible. I was working for Dr. Swayam Prakash even during my intern. I'm really grateful for him that he gave me that opportunity, and I actually went there to collect some blood samples, but then he hired me itself, seeing that I was active maybe. So त्यहाँबाट मैले career start गर्दाखेरि I was in intern. After finishing intern, I tried to stay in the clinic for the whole day. तर त्यतिखेरको कन्डिसनमा पेट प्र्याक्टिस फुल टाइम भइसकेको थिएन. Some people used to do like the roaming type, like home calls and stuff like that. तर क्लिनिकमै ल्याएर दिनभरि कुकुर बिरालो जचाउन ल्याउने त्यस्तो कन्डिसन भइसकेको थिएन. So nobody came. Like for 2 months, nobody came. So that was my turning point. त्यसपछि I decided that if I'm to stay in Nepal, pet practice is not a full-time job for me. I'm not talking about right now. Ahilelai, it's a really lucrative job.
Yeah, true. So then you decided that you like go for abroad study, right? To this
No,
specialty, or
then I decided that I'll go with the flow. It's always my motto. Like you just go with the flow, and then I started to apply for some jobs. I did not do my master's right away. I did it 10 years later. मेरो
10 years
certain
later.
family as a constraintहरू पनि थियो. And then after I joined my job, then everything like it slowed down भनौँ न.
So you hold a master degree in dairy production, like you mentioned, right? So to 10 years of frame, I say, why was it important for you to go abroad and do the study and then get your master degree?
So all of us Rampurians, may it be IS or AFU, we all know that हामीले नेपालको जुन education system हामीले हेरिसक्यौं भोगिसक्यौं. So when we study there, we feel that we are lacking a bit in international arena. So I wanted to have a new perspective on how this sector goes on. अब बाहिरको एउटा उसबाट point of view बाट कसरी हुँदो रहेछ भनेर त्यो नयाँ पर्सपेक्टिभमा I wanted to refine myself भनौँ हैन. So and I think that was a really good decision, because and I'm very lucky that I got admission in Michigan State University, USA, and it was a really golden 2 years of my life. And though I was not much into the topic, dairy reproduction, I had to do all the ultrasound and PDs for large bovines who are 1,500 pounds, and 1,500 pounds per body, I would just be hanging in there. I would just be a tiny behind it, but still with the help of my team over there, I managed. And meanwhile, in 2015, I came back to Nepal. त्यो time ko, I think I know a few people from the final year and the interns, because I did a research in buffaloes as well. Dairy buffalo ko reproduction ma pani I did a research, and that was in AFU's farm. So yeah, with that, even though I was doing a research in Rampur, that was under guidance from my professor in the US itself. So even that was a new perspective for me. यहाँ काम गर्दा उतैको प्रिन्सिपलबाट गरेको भएर it was good learning itself and refreshing to go back to college.
Yes, revive those old memories होला हैन म्याम हजुरले त्यतिखेर.
And most of the people did not believe me that I was back maybe 10 years maybe. Yeah, 10 years. It was a 10-year gap, almost 10-year gap. Some people would say that कति कुन yearमा हो तपाई भन्दाखेरि it was a bit funny as well.
Okay, so like you said, you were like 10 years back on the त्यसपछि चाहिँ like what was your reason to come back to Nepal? It was any reason like particular?
Actually, the project that funded me, it had a MOU where I had to come back to Nepal and do a research. But it was in the beginning of my study. But at the end, it did not require me to do that. त्यतिखेर मेरो baby really, he was around 1.5 years, around 2 years. अनि बच्चाको मायाले भनौँ देशको मायाले भनौँ I came back, and it was a bit of a mistake at that time, because if I was in the US and I continued my research over there, it would have been a really good data, but I did 2 researches with small data, and त्यसले गर्दा मलाई थोरै hamper भयो, but I don't regret it.
So, okay. Wow, that was intense.
Yeah.
And you've been there for 2 years, like त्यहाँको एजुकेसन सिस्टम र यहाँको एजुकेसन सिस्टममा तपाईँले एकदमै भास्ट लाइक डिफरेन्स पाउनुभयो होला होइन? So like anything that like एकदमै बाहिर चाहिँ एकदम there's some like particular कुरा that influenced you or intrigued you so much यहाँ र compared to abroad?
I would say Nepal, it's more like theoretical. We are always running after notes, books, you know. त्यहाँ पनि notes, I don't think so, you know. Books त्यहाँ पनि use हुन्थ्यो, but यहाँ चाहिँ अब morely theoretical classes and exam oriented हुन्थ्यो. उता the subjects that I took, the credits I took, त्यहाँ it was more like learning oriented. Assignments हुन्थ्यो हाम्रो, and assignments मै examहरू हुन्थ्यो. It would be open books. You wouldn't be deprived of the books. तपाईले book हेरेर पनि you could do everything. अनि मेरो लागि चाहिँ I think I've forgotten most of the things I learned in Rampur, but I will never forget what I learned in the US. So I think अलिकति हाम्रो education system मा loophole छ. हामी theoretically पढाउँछौं र exam गराउँछौं. Without exam पनि students हरु राम्रो हुन सक्छ भनेर I realized it in the US. अनि maybe we should slowly learn and you know copy what people are doing over there, but maybe slowly, not abruptly, but slowly.
Yeah, it will take time. I think we also need to have that के भन्ने intuition भन्ने के भन्ने to change पनि हैन? तर यसरी नै गयो भने चाहिँ most of will end up in going to abroad जस्तो लाग्छ मलाई चाहिँ अहिलेको सिस्टममा पनि हेर्दाखेरि चाहिँ. So I think कस्तो तपाईको सँग कुरा गर्दा it's so soothing भन्ने के भने सुनिराख्नु मन लाग्ने भइराछ मलाई चाहिँ हैन? And I like already into the third category of government job मा है. So we are already into it, and this is also going to be interesting for students or like veterinarians who want to be in the government sector as well. So I want to ask you the question like when and why did you decide that you wanted to go for the government job as a veterinarian, say?
I was a government officer's kid, so that was a driving force. My dad worked at NARC, so that was also my driving force. And secondly, government sector is one sector that drives all the livestock sector in Nepal. Surely, private sector le pani thorai drive the garcha, but then when you are talking about policies and acts and stuff like that, if you are in the government sector, you have a right in a way. When you are in a certain position, you have a right to intervene, or you know, you तपाईले केही दिन दिन सक्नुहुन्छ. You can change, you can suggest. It's not that private suggestion लिँदैन, but when you are in government, it's a bit easier. So that's the reason I chose government sector.
Okay, so can you briefly like take us into like what was the process हुन्छ नि त्यो government sector तिर छिर्दाखेरि चाहिँ as a veterinarian, what was the preparation? How did it look like for you back in that time?
Honestly, मैले government job को लागि prepare गर्दै गरिन. So public service commission ले exam लिन्थ्यो, so I just applied, and I never took a leave from any of my jobs. I always worked 2 jobs at a time. So तपाईहरुलाई पनि if you are aspiring, public service commission is the one. अब अहिलेको लागि त our government is divided into 3 tiers: federal संघीय, provincial प्रादेशिक, and local governments हरु गाउँपालिका नगरपालिकाहरु छन्. So you guys have a huge opportunity in all of the thing. अब अहिले संघीय निजामती ऐन आउँदैछ. यदि त्यो आइसकेपछि चाहिँ प्रादेशिक निजामती ऐन पनि बनिसकेपछि you guys will have a tremendous opportunity. हाम्रो पालामा it was not the same. We had to wait for a bit. 1-2 वर्ष wait गरेपछि, and then for example मैले 63 मा I passed out, and I was recruited in the government at 66 only. So हाम्रो लागि there was a 3-year gap. तपाईहरुलाई त्यो हुँदैन. you can choose where you want to be. You want to be for the central government or provincial government, or you want to work for the local government. अब फार्मरलाई हिट गर्ने ग्रासरुट लेभलमा काम गर्ने हो भने you opt for either provincial government, where you can go for the vet hospitals in different districts. Otherwise, even local governments, गाउँपालिकाहरू नगरपालिकाहरूमा पनि they are recruiting vets. अहिले सानो issue त levelको आइरहेछ, but then I believe that we can solve this, and then you guys can opt for those jobs as well. You घर पाइक लिन सकिन्छ, अथवा whichever area you choose to be in Nepal, you can choose that.
Okay, so you said you did not prepare like to preparation गर्छु भनेर चाहिँ गर्नु भएको चाहिँ हैन यो जबको लागि?
हैन, like I said, I never took a long leave from the job and stayed at home. I didn't do that. What I did was, wherever I would be, for example, I was in the clinic in the evening time. It's not that I didn't at all prepare. I would just look through it. I was always like, I could never learn anything by heart, ever. So I would just read it, and whatever remains in my mind, I can write it in the exam. And त्यसरी नै I passed the class 3 exam, and class 2 exam पनि I passed the same way. I cannot memorize. I don't have a memorizing brain, भनौं न. So the guys who don't have a memorizing brain, you don't have to be sad.
But I think I'm with you, ma'am. Regarding the memorization, I'm also like very not much like my friends. So लाग्छ मलाई पनि to present make it जे हुन्छ नि, whatever you have in the head, it's there. Otherwise, it's gone. भने जस्तो नै हुन्छ my case.
But if you understand what you are learning, then you can definitely interpret it in your own way.
Yeah, very true. So about like many of us, I think I'm a senior there. A lot of us also wants to go into the government field, you know. Like you took us to like.
I'm really happy to hear that. I'm really happy that you are saying that.
Because I have my friends, senior, about not friends, कोही कति फ्रेन्ड्सहरु पनि छन् हैन. They are like really rooting for चाहिँ अब प्रिपरेसन गर्नुपर्छ बस्नुपर्छ भनेर. So preparation कै क्रममा भन्दाखेरि पनि you when you get into that government job, हैन, त्यहाँ चाहिँ promotion को त्यो कसरी हुन्छ, like the process and everything? Is it like fee or and what is it? How is it there?
Unfortunately, अब government system मा loophole एउटा भनेको तपाईको अब गभर्नमेन्ट जबमा तपाईको परफर्मेन्स अनुसारको हुने तुरुन्तै हुँदैन. So you have to wait certain time. अनि गभर्नमेन्टमा पोइन्ट सिस्टम हुन्छ. पोइन्ट सिस्टमको लागि भौगोलिक आधारमा 4 वटा भौगोलिक क्षेत्रमा विभाजित छ, क ख ग घ. So if you are in Ka, maybe Karnali, then you get good points, and if you're in Kha, maybe Kathmandu, तपाईले points धेरै पाउनुहुन्न. So that's also a point system. You can like अब त्यो त तपाईले म्यानेज गरेर हैन, few years म अलिकति विकट ठाउँमा काम गरेर सेवा गरेर तपाईले जित्छु भनेर तपाईले पोइन्ट्सहरु धेरै एक्युमुलेट गरेर पनि तपाईले प्रमोसनको लाइनमा तपाई अगाडि आउन सक्नुहुन्छ हैन. दोस्रो भनेको there is also a free competition like what I did, but even I was not lucky enough to be selected very early. मेरो पनि almost 8.5 years भन्दा पछिमा भएको हो. त्यही कारणले there are many ways how you can get promoted. You just have to balance, like कोही मान्छेले काम गर्दा गर्दै you also keep a habit of studying and accumulating knowledge. त्यस्तो भयो भने चाहिँ you can get through the exams pretty quick also.
So the exams चाहिँ yearly basis मा हुन्छ कि or like उनीहरुको आफ्नै सिस्टममा त्यो कसरी रन?
अब पहिलाको कुरा गर्ने हो भने अब मैले भनिहाले यो संघीय निजामती ऐन आउँदैछ. त्यो आउनु अगाडि हाम्रो जुन निजामती सेवा ऐन थियो, त्यो ऐनबाट हामी सबै निजामती कर्मचारीहरु गाइडेड छौं. र लोक सेवा आयोगले हाम्रो जुन एक्जाम लिन्छ उहाँहरूले चाहिँ असोजको अन्तिम बुधबार सूचना प्रकाशन गर्नुहुन्छ सो देयर विल बी अ नोटिस regarding new recruitment in their in गोरखापत्र as well as their newsletter अनि त्यसमा चाहिँ they will just announce how many अनि त्यसको आधार चाहिँ हाम्रो गभर्नमेन्टको डिफरेन्ट अब अहिलेको 3 टायरमा अलिकति अप्ठ्यारो नै छ त्यतिखेरको सेन्ट्रल गभर्नमेन्ट मात्र हुँदाखेरि different sectorले these are the vacant seats and these are vacant seats भनेर जब पठाउनु हुन्छ त्यो लोक सेवा आयोगले एक्युमुलेट गरेर अनि they will just announce the vacant seats त्यसरी चाहिँ उहाँले गर्नुहुन्छ it's the same with class 3 class 2 as well as class 1
okay I got it. Okay, that was awesome. So moving on to another question, ma'am, like oily, you're also a pet clinician and also a senior veterinarian, how does a typical day look like for you? Kasto huncha tapako schedule and routine? How hectic is it? Like you already mentioned, but like what kind of responsibility and roles that you have to go through on your day?
Days are always hectic. So right now I am only a part-timer in the clinic. So in the morning I stay there for 1.5 hours, and before that I have to go drop my kid to the school. And this which I go to the clinic at 8:30, and from 8:30 to 10 I stay at the clinic, and sometimes there are many cases, sometimes there are few cases, and maybe I just refer them for the evening shift when the other doctor comes. And at 10 I go to my office, which is a vaccine production laboratory. It's a government owned vaccine production laboratory. So त्यहाँ laboratory अब मैले त्यहाँ मेरो designation भन्न थाले भने धेरै नै हुन्छ. So I'm also the planning officer over there, and I also look after the tissue culture lab, which produces PPR vaccine right now and maybe CSF vaccine in future. अनि quality manager, technical manager पनि अहिले त्यहाँ कोही हुनुहुन्न, so I'm also looking after that. So यस्तै few designations अरु पनि छ. So whatever tiny bits and crumbs come, I just have to handle them. And we also work at the lab, tissue culture गर्छौं हामी, PPR vaccine production गर्छौं, and likewise other vaccine production र rabies vaccine production section पनि छ. So if they also need guidance, especially with the other vaccine production division, त्यसमा पनि थोरै I have to guide the doctors over there. And दिनभरि नै त्यसै नै चलिरहेको छ.
Wow, your hands are all so full जस्तो सुनिने के त्यो प्रेस schedule सुन्दाखेरि. I think it's रमाइलो पनि हुन्छ होला तपाईलाई working गर्दाखेरि everything.
Yeah. It's fun. Like हाम्रो office-मा if we are fully recruited, we are 53. We should have been 53 people. So it's a huge office. Kind of crowdy, but it's fun also. सबैजनासँग मिलेर काम गर्दा रमाइलो हुन्छ.
So ma'am, like you mentioned about this entire routine पनि भन्नुभयो. Then what is that you like the most about your work? And to add more on that, what is the least thing that you like about the work?
The most I love about my work is being a clinician. मलाई कुकुर एकदम मन पर्थ्यो बच्चादेखि नै. So when I can really save a dog's life, म फ्याक्ट्रीको छुट्टै भन्छु ल, मेरो क्लिनिशियन को पार्टको छुट्टै भन्छु र गभर्नमेन्टको छुट्टै भन्छु. So when I can save a dog's life or a cat's life, that's what makes me happy. And the part that really is not like makes me unhappy or I'm sad about it, like there are certain cases where we have to euthanize a case, like if there's a puppy and puppy could distemper positive आयो भने, that is the most saddest part of our profession भनौं as a clinician. अब vaccine production laboratory मा let's be focused on vaccine production laboratory only अहिलेको लागि. So we are producing different kinds of vaccines in Nepal itself. Government owned laboratory ले rabies, PPR, HSBQ, poultry मा ND, IBD अनि fowl pox यो सबै यति धेरै अनि एन्थ्राक्सको पनि बन्छ त्यहाँ when needed. So government owned laboratory यति धेरै खालको भ्याक्सिन बनाउन सक्छ भनेर जब हामी फिल गर्छौं नि that's really comforting. Like कहिलेकाहीँ I also had to work for extension in the government. I'm more happy in this field because this is highly technical अनि we are saving life जस्तो लाग्छ. अब गभर्नमेन्ट फिल्डमा चाहिँ कस्तो भने during decision making there is certain procedure you have to go through. अनि त्यो प्रोसिजरहरु when you have to go through those procedures sometimes it takes time. त्यस्तो टाइमहरु sometimes some things take a pace भनौं न अलि स्लो हुन्छ. त्यो चाहिँ it's not in my hands. त्यो मेरो हातमा हुँदैन. त्यो कारणले अलिकति अप्ठ्यारो लाग्छ. People say that खोइ तपाईहरुले काम गर्नु भएन, स्लो भयो भनेर भन्नुहुन्छ. It's not in our hands. त्यतिखेर चाहिँ अलि गाह्रो हुन्छ.
Okay, so that should be the least for you, that you don't like it. So when things are not under control. Yeah. So compared to like private practitioner, I say that I think this also include in like the difficulty part. That in your experience, how different or difficult is for a government practitioner and then a private practitioner?
When you say practitioner, अब खाली practice मा मात्र भएकोलाई चाहिँ practitioner भन्यो भने अब government practitioner, if you are a government practitioner, it depends on where you are. हैन? Even a private practitioner पनि it depends on where you are. If you are in a city, the cases will be more like pets. Kukur biralo बढी आउँछ. So if you are in outskirts of a city or if you are in a village, त्यहाँ चाहिँ तपाईको लाइफस्टक आउँछ. अनि if you are in a चितवन जस्तो एकदम उर्वर ठाउँमा छ भने you get large farms and poultry. अनि त्यस्तोमा चाहिँ अब it depends तपाई कहाँ हुनुहुन्छ. अनि challenges भनेको यस्तो pros and cons सबै चीजमा हुन्छ. So challenges त it comes with what you are worth. त्यस्तो हो हैन. So good and bad factor दुईटैमा छ. अब you have to just choose on what you want. You have to be focused. अनि त्यही focus सँगै अब you have to first weigh what are the pros and cons if you go into that sector, and likewise you have to decide.
So I also want to add the questions from our audience side पनि हैन. अहिलेको like government veterinarians हरुकोमा चाहिँ यो small animal practice को scenario चाहिँ कस्तो छ भनेर उहाँले जान्न चाहनु भएको छ.
So the same answer repeat गरेको जस्तो हुन्छ. तर गभर्नमेन्ट सेक्टरमा भेटरनरी प्राक्टिस अब पहिलाको हकमा जिल्ला पशु कार्यालय थियो. अहिले 3 टायर गभर्नमेन्टमा गइसकेपछि फेडरल गभर्नमेन्टको हकमा सेन्ट्रल भेटरनरी हस्पिटल छ त्रिपुरेश्वरमा. बाकी प्रोभिन्सियल गभर्नमेन्टबाट 47 वटा भेटरनरी पशु अस्पताल छ र विज्ञ केन्द्र भनेर नाम राखेको छ. 77 जिल्लामा छैन अहिले. होपफुली पछि हुन्छ. अहिले हालसालै गण्डकी प्रोभिन्समा चाहिँ उहाँहरूले सबै जिल्लालाई छुटछुटी बनाउनु भएको छ. होपफुली सबैजनाले त्यो कपी गर्नुहुन्छ. त्यस्तो भयो भने एक्ज्याक्टली ट्रिटमेन्टकै सर्भिस दिने चाहिँ उहाँहरूले हो हैन. अनि स्मल एनिमल प्र्याक्टिस हुने भनेको it depends on where you are. So for example, तपाईं काठमाडौँमा हुनुहुन्छ भने there will definitely be small animal practice. तर त्यही सँगसँगै भेटरनरी हस्पिटल त्रिपुरेश्वरमा राम्रो हुन्छ. But then if you go to ललितपुर veterinary hospital लगनखेलमा भएको त्यहाँनेर चाहिँ you will get farm animals as well as small animals. अब तपाईं पोखरा चितवन जस्तो ठाउँमा जानु भने त्यहाँ पनि अहिले स्मल एनिमल्सको फ्लो राम्रो छ. लाइकवाइज विराटनगरमा पनि अहिले स्मल एनिमलको फ्लो राम्रो छ. तर अब अरु ठाउँमा पेट एनिमल्सको त्यस्तो धेरै फ्लो भइसकेको छैन. त्यो त अब डिमान्ड पुल कस्तो छ त्यसमा हुन्छ नि त हैन. इफ देयर इज डिमान्ड देन स्लोली नट दैट वी आर नट गिभिङ द सर्भिस. इट्स जस्ट दैट केसेस नै कम छ अथवा केसेस हस्पिटल्समा पुग्दैन. So it depends on where
we are and then cost of cases and they on that exploration.
तर अहिले त्रिपुरेश्वरको सेन्ट्रल रेफरल हस्पिटलमा चाहिँ धेरै नै राम्रो केस फ्लो छ. I think more than 50 plus. per day. So that's a really good case flow.
So like about this was about pet clinician or practitioner तिर हैन but as a like a senior veterinarian do you have तपाईँले अघि पनि मेन्सन गरिसक्नु भइसक्यो लाइक आफूले चाहिँ डिसिजन कुनै कुनै कुराहरू चाहिँ आफ्नो हातमा हुँदैन and then things these are the least thing that you don't like but except that there are any other like restriction or boundaries जस्तो कि तपाईँलाई अब प्राइभेट प्र्याक्टिसनरहरूलाई चाहिँ अलिकति फ्रिडम भएको देख्नुहुन्छ कि एज अ गभर्मेन्ट भेटेरियन हाउ डु यु हेभ लाइक एनिथिङ अन द्याट
You're again focused on practicing, right? Or the
more
office job?
As in like a government officer.
If you're working for the government, you have to be disciplined. It's not that private practitioners are not disciplined, but government needs to have us being disciplined. We have to follow certain norms. We have to be in the office by 10, maybe private practitioner ko alikati flexible huncha hola. Mere afno clinic ma pani if I reach there a bit late, I don't have to be I don't have to say sorry to anybody. So there is a flexibility of time with private. Government ma you have to be there. And in certain government offices like a quarantine office where you have to be there even in off times. Even in our labs, when there is a work, when there is a tissue culture going on, or when there is a SPF egg coming, you also have to work at night. So there is accountability huncha, government ma responsibility huncha. Private ma pani chhadecha. So I think sabai sector ma cha responsibility, accountability हामी sabai sector ma cha. Government ma चाहिँ अलिकति restrictions हरु certain कुरामा छ. But it's for your own good. You get disciplined in that way.
Yeah, true. Very true. I think so about like let's since it's like women in veterinarian and the intention of this was to have more women veterinarian in our episode. So तपाईँको experience अनुसार and then these all the veterinary practice मा चाहिँ what is the current scenario of women in government sector?
Government sector. Firstly, women registered at NVC मा एकजना सिनियर दाइ डाक्टर सुरेन्द्र कार्कीले उहाँले एउटा स्ट्याट्स हेर्नु भएको थियो. ही इज अ भेरी गुड एपिडेमियोलोजिस्ट. सो उहाँले हेर्नु हुँदाखेरि अहिलेसम्मको दर्तावाल भेटनेरियनहरुमा 1/3 हामी वुमेन रहेछौं. सो द्याट वाज रियली एन्करेजिङ डेटा. मसँग अहिले गभर्मेन्टकोमा आई डु नट ह्याभ द डेटा अफ हाउ मच वुमेन वी ह्याभ बट अहिले जुन हेर्छौँ नि हामीले नयाँ इन्टेकहरुमा बहिनीहरु धेरै आउनु भएको छ. सो द्याट मेक्स अस ह्याप्पी. धेरै नै हामी लेडिजहरु छौं. But there is also a fact, like 2066 when I joined the government job, and I used to go for a workshop. It was in 2066 itself in Pokhara. The whole of the hall, I counted the heads. Just one head was mine from a woman. And recently I went to Dhangadi after like many years. 11 years later, it was a NVA General Assembly of Province 7. There was no lady veterinarian. That made me a bit sad. I see so many ladies vet, graduating and joining our government service or the private practice. तर त्यहाँ जाँदाखेरि एकजना पनि हुनु नरहेछ त्यहाँ. So that was a bit shocking actually.
So yeah, on हजुरले Nepal Veterinary Council मा पनि member हुनुहुन्छ. Is there like त्यहाँको ratio चाहिँ कस्तो छ म्याम?
त्यहाँको रेशियोमा I am the only lady over there. And यो भन्दा अगाडि बडीमा पनि there was Dr. Samjana Kafle. She is a class 1 officer in the government of Nepal. अहिले उहाँ प्रदेश 2 को सचिव हुनुहुन्छ. So उहाँ हुनुभएको बेलामा नै I would have dreamt like at some point I would want to be a member of this council. And I didn't want to be right away, but त्यो एउटा far away dream थियो जुन यो वर्ष पुरा भयो. So I'm the only one member in there. So the scenario is changing. Samjana ma'am bhanda agadi, I do not believe there was any lady vet in the council. And as for me, I think that I'm the first elected women member in the council. Maybe I'm not sure about the history.
Wow.
So I think I'm paving a way for you all so that you can also join the council, and this ratio will surely increase. Like we are 33%. So if 2 or 3 of us are in the body of council, then that would be really encouraging for all women.
Yeah. That is like 33% reservation ma भन्नुभएको हजुरले
होइन रिजर्भेसन होइन जुन हाम्रो सिनियर दाइले जुन डेटा निकाल्नु भयो एनबिसी रेजिस्टर्ड भेट्समा हामी 1/3 लेडिज छौँ सो 1/3 लेडिजलाई रिप्रेजेन्ट गर्नलाई वाइ नट इन द काउन्सिल एज वेल होइन सो नेक्स्ट टाइम लेट्स सी मोर अफ अस लेडिज विल बी interested in joining the council maybe.
Yeah, I hope that too as well. अनि अहिले चाहिँ यही काउन्सिल यो I mean like कमिटी मेम्बरमा पनि अहिले सर्टेन सिनियर्सहरू who are like women अनि उहाँहरू पनि लाइक भोटिङ गर्दाखेरि यताउति एक्टिभली गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ त्यो देख्दाखेरि पनि खुसी लाग्ने कि लाइक हुन्छ नि
you're talking about NVA, right?
Yeah, that is NVA, yes. Assemblyमा
हो एनभिएमा पनि सबै प्रोभिन्समा पनि there are women members, and luckily in the central committee there are 2. So it's really encouraging.
I'm just curious to know, like, to committee बनाउँदाखेरि is there a like हुन्छ नि के भन्ने quota त्यो like women राख्नै पर्छ भन्ने हो भएर राखेको हो कि like just because they are interested भनेर.
As for me, NVC ma there are 5 elected members. 5 jana election 5 jana ko selection ko lai there were 19 candidates, and I came third with the vote. So there was a voting.
Wow.
And even with the central committee, different province ma chai if the understanding bhayo bhane chai okay, I will be a member bhane arule manu bhayo bhane chai there will be no voting. Central ma there was a voting, and Sabina Lamsal and Dr. Sabina Lamsal and Dr. Sirin Amate, they also fairly won with the votes among all the candidates.
Yeah, I think Shreya did, yeah. She,
that's what
she did about, yeah. So ma'am, I think we are almost end to the session. I also want to add, since we're talking about women and in the veterinarian field, have you had any like incident or like such issue where there's any discrimination or gender issue in your workplace or as in like bachelor life? Anything that you want to share with us?
I would go for there's certain minor issues, but I wouldn't get stuck with minor issues. There are no major issues, so you just need to believe in yourself. You just you just do what you love, and you just believe in what you do. That's what you have to do. So just ignore the minor issues and you just go on. That's what you have to do.
Very true. I think, yeah. So, like you just said, I know about that, but we can also, we cannot also like not address them, but like you said, ignore one. It's better we.
You should not ignore. You should keep that in mind. You just make yourself stronger. You just make yourself more stronger and tackle them. Just don't make don't let that stop you. That's what I mean.
Oh, okay. So just so I think this would be our second last question. But if we have any question in the chat, we'll surely answer that. So you're also a mom and you're a wife and you're working. So how hectic is it? And this is also a question that is asked by the audience itself, I know. Tabai chite burnout hununcha ki tabaiko stress kasari manage garnuncha, like she's very curious to know how do you handle and juggle all in this all stuff.
So people who are really close to me, they know how stressed out I am. I'm always juggling my life. I'm always juggling my family, my clinic, my office, and right now with the council. But I kind of manage. Like I try to be punctual at every spot. I try to be I try to drop my son on time. I have a routine and I follow it strictly. Yeah, I do get a off at in the evening time, but still I'm there was a Australian vet who told me that I was juggling with my life, and I think I'm doing that. And for now, I'm having a balance in life. You can do it if you want to. That's what I think. You can do it.
So, like, did you like yourself realize that you were juggling Kita or like observerly भन्दाखेरि
Every
it
day,
was
every minute, I'm juggling.
so okay. We have a couple of questions that is related to about more about epidemiology नै भनौँ न हैन.
Mhm,
I would like to add अहिले यो बिचमै because we are almost the end for the question.
mhm,
So
mhm.
the question is बर्ड फ्लूको अहिले धेरै नै आउटब्रेक भइरहेको हुन्छ हैन. सो यस्तो बेला चाहिँ लाइक गभर्नमेन्ट साइडकोबाट रोलहरू चाहिँ कस्तो छ अनि टु एड मोर द टेल क्वेसन अन इट तपाईँहरूले लाइक गभर्नमेन्ट सेक्टरबाट फार्मर ओरिएन्टेडहरू प्रोग्राम गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ वाट इज द इम्प्याक्ट अनि अहिले त्यो सिचुएसन चाहिँ कस्तो छ भनेर सोध्नु भएको छ उहाँले.
बर्ड फ्लूको इस्युलाई चाहिँ गाइड गर्ने अहिले हामीसँग भएको भनेको बर्ड फ्लू कन्ट्रोल अर्डर 2064 हो. यसमा चेन्ज गर्नको लागि गभर्मेन्टबाट अहिले पाइपलाइनमा भएको इन्फेक्सियस डिजिज एक्टले गभर्न गर्नको लागि त्यो पाइपलाइनमा छ. र अहिले जुन ठाउँ ठाउँमा आउटब्रेक भइरहेको छ, जुन अब सर्टनली बायोसेक्युरिटी मेजर राम्रो भएको फार्ममा सर्टनली हुँदैन, जहाँ अलिकति बायोसेक्युरिटी मेजरमा लुप होल हुन्छ अथवा ब्याकयार्ड फार्म हुन्छ, त्यहाँनिर चाहिँ आउटब्रेक भइरहेको. एन्ड आई थिङ्क गभर्मेन्ट चाहिँ फेयरली दे आर सक्सेसफुल इन स्ट्याम्पिङ आउट, ठाउँ ठाउँमा गएर स्ट्याम्प आउट भएर डिजिज फैलिन चाहिँ नेपालमा दिइसकेको छैन जस्तो लाग्छ. सो आई प्राउडली से द्याट माई गभर्मेन्ट इज डुइङ अ रियली गुड जब. अनि साथसाथै यो जुन बर्ड फ्लू कन्ट्रोल अर्डर भने त्यसले नै फार्मर्सहरूलाई चाहिँ जो फार्मर्सले लस बेयर गरिराख्नु भएको छ उहाँहरूले चाहिँ सर्टन कम्पन्सेसन पाउनुहुन्छ. सो दे आर नट फुल्ली एट लस. यो लाइफस्टक इन्सुरेन्सले जुन कभर गर्दैन बर्ड फ्लूको लसलाई, त्योलाई चाहिँ कम्पेन्सेट हाम्रो एक्टले सर्टन अमाउन्ट categorize गरेर दिनुभएको छ फार्मरलाई. That's also a really good point that the government is doing, and hopefully with the new act that's in pipeline, it will be more organized.
Okay, I hope your question has been addressed. But okay, so I think anything, ma'am, I would certainly go follow the chats also as well. But anything that you would like to say for your aspiring vets or graduates or people or any like who wants to be in the veterinary field or want to in the government sector?
So I would like to repeat what one vet told me before I even joined the veterinary study. Veterinary field is one field where you don't have to ask for a job from anybody. You can just create a job yourself. So that was a very strong line that I heard when I was not, I had just joined Rampur and I had not started classes. That was a really strong line, and I still believe in that. Tapai, if you are a veterinary graduate, you can stay anywhere and you can just create a job for yourself. Maybe may it be a poultry, or you want to be a small animal practitioner, or you want to, open a feed industry, or you want to go for farming, or you want to be a consultant in a farming. You have millions of opportunities. So tapai, if you are aspiring to be a vet graduate, go for it. It's better to be focused. Like I'm juggling right now, but you don't have to juggle that. You just be focused. You have to know yourself, what you want, what you are really interested in. So you have to choose a sector which you really love. You do that, and then eventually you have to believe in what you do. You have to believe in that, and you also have to slowly develop your competence. Competence, let's say, and don't believe in success in a day or two. Tapailai certain time लाग्छ to succeed, but it will surely happen. One day at a time.
Yeah, one at a time. I think.
Yeah,
I think with that. Yeah. We have few comments from Shreya Kisididi. She's also our graduate vet. She says, still veterinary profession is largely male dominated in my opinion. So as a woman, we still have a long way to go. I think Dr. Srijana Manandhar, you also agree with that, and we do agree with that. If you have anything to add on that, otherwise, yeah.
So we are a considerable number right now. It's a male dominated society overall. Wholesome mane Nepali society is a patriarchal society and male dominated. So what I've seen is if you get a support from a male colleague and also from a female colleague, then that's awesome. Like you don't get support from your female colleagues. So as we women vets, we should join hands with each other. We have to support each other. That's the way we can move forward.
Yeah, I really like sink into that topic you one I might say, because a lot of time it's actually women who is not supporting women, right? So आफ्नै प्रोफेसनमा आफ्नै किसिमको रिप्रेजेन्टेसन नगर्दा चाहिँ there certain times छिटो दुख्ने त भइहाल्छ. But I think this is a reminder and also a note for every one of us, and even the male veterinarians as well. So, ma'am, if you have anything, and if every one watching us, if you have any question for Dr. Srijana Manandhar, please add to us. अघि रक्षण दाइले त सोध्नु भएको थियो, डक्टर रक्षण कर्मचारीले, like what was your TU experience भनेर, तर I think you have already mentioned कस्तो थियो भनेर TU experience हरू. So yeah, but if you have any questions, people you can add, and I think यो कति छिटो सक्या जस्तो नि भइरहेछ मलाई चाहिँ. It was really fun talking to you, ma'am. I did not really expect that हुन्छ नि. I must say you like अहिलेसम्म गरेको एपिसोडमा चाहिँ this went on very good flow, and I was just listening to you the like 200% एकदमै clearly, and then yeah, so it was like कस्तो okay, unexpected, but then also so much fun and learning for me.
Roxanne put you and MSc experience as a lady vet. So TU ma luckily we were 5 of us, and even our male colleagues in TU उहाँहरूले पनि एकदम सपोर्ट गर्नुभयो. मेरो फेसबुकको उसमा हेर्नुभयो भने we few of back in the AGM, त्यसमा just we are friends for life. Even lady vets हरू अहिले नेपालमा हुनुहुन्न. So जो यहाँ हुनुहुन्छ जेन्ट्स भेटहरू, they are also my friends for life. Even lady vets जो बाहिर हुनुहुन्छ, they are close to my heart. But जो यहाँ हुनुहुन्छ, they are my friends for life. Even today I met my friend who came over to my clinic to the surgery. I am no more a surgeon. I just do minor surgeries. So म उहाँहरूलाई time and again भेट्छु. Unluckily MSU मा lady vet जस्तो MSc को experience सबै नै it's not all sweet and all. अलिकति sourness त्यहाँ पनि छ, अलिकति discrimination त्यहाँ पनि छ, not from American counterparts but from foreigners. Discrimination हाम्रो society मा मात्र होइन रहेछ भनेर मैले त्यहाँ realize गरे. So yeah, discrimination जहाँ पनि हुन्छ, यो whole wide world मै हुन्छ, not just because you are a woman. Sometimes when you are brown skinned, when you are from Asia, त्यो पनि हुन्थ्यो. So you just don't let those minor things stop you from going forward. You just, sometimes you break down, you cry, you are sad, but after a while you have to make yourself strong and you just move forward. That's what you have to do. So discrimination lies in, you have to make it a stepping stone, not something that stops you.
Wow, yeah, very true, and then a very strong reminder for us as well. So we have Dr. Ranjita Bastola. She has a question. How would you address the issue that are coming up in between vets and senior vet tech assistants in government job?
अब गभर्नमेन्टमा उहाँहरूलाई पशु चिकित्सक भनेर जुन पद दिएको छ, उहाँहरू टाइटल त हुनुहुन्न, तर गभर्नमेन्टमा अब मैले भनिहालेँ जुन डिसिप्लिन हुन्छ नि, त्यो डिसिप्लिनमा हामी बस्नै पर्छ, हामीले उहाँहरूलाई पनि रेस्पेक्ट दिनै पर्छ. बट द्याट डज नट मिन द्याट दे हेभ अ प्रिस्क्रिप्सन राइट. That does not mean that उहाँहरूले क्वारेन्टाइन सर्टिफिकेट्सहरू हेल्थ सर्टिफिकेट्सहरू इस्यु गर्न सक्नुहुन्छ त्यो भन्न मिल्दैन। तर नेपाल सरकारको पशु चिकित्सक भनेर उहाँहरू एन्टाइटल हुनुहुन्छ भने त्यो खालको रेस्पेक्ट चाहिँ उहाँहरूलाई दिनुपर्छ। र सँगसँगै कसैले बिबिएससी गरेर आउनुहुन्छ र डाक्टर भनेर एन्टाइटल हुनुहुन्छ भने उहाँहरूले प्रिस्क्रिप्सन राइटदेखि लिएर हेल्थ सर्टिफिकेटको राइट त पाइ नै हाल्नुहुन्छ। सो एकले अर्कालाई सपोर्ट गर्ने र रेस्पेक्ट गर्ने चाहिँ हुनुपर्छ यो फिल्डमा हैन। किनभने रेड टेक्स पनि नचाहिने होइन। जब हामी संख्याको हिसाबले हेर्छौं हाम्रो धेरै ठाउँमा जाने धेरै गाउँहरुमा पुग्ने भेटटेक्सहरु हुनुहुन्छ, एआई गर्नलाई भेटटेक्सहरु पुग्नुहुन्छ भने उहाँहरुलाई हामीले सहयोग गर्नुपर्छ, उहाँहरुले हामीलाई सहयोग गर्नुहुन्छ र रेस्पेक्ट गर्नुपर्छ। सँगसँगै सर्टेन एउटा लाइन पनि ड्र त भइ नै रहेको छ जब वी आर डक्टर एन्ड दे आर नट। सो उहाँहरूले पनि त्यो बुझेर सँगसँगै मिलेर चाहिँ अगाडि बढ्नुपर्छ जस्तो लाग्छ।
I think yes, I think यसमा चाहिँ हामी उनीहरुसँग अब I'm not into the field तर जति बुझेको अनुसार चाहिँ उनीहरुलाई रेस्पेक्ट नदिनु भन्दा नि आफूले चाहिँ लाइक वर्कहरु गरेर चाहिँ त्यो अनुसार रेस्पेक्ट बनाउनु पर्छ जस्तो लाग्छ। एन्ड देन देयर विल बी आफै नै क्लियर डिमार्केसन हैन।
हैन अब त्यो पनि हामीले कदर गर्नुपर्छ। तर सर्टेन रेस्ट्रिक्सन्सहरु हुन्छ, उहाँहरुलाई हामीले दिने अधिकारदेखि लिएर सबैमा सर्टेन रेस्ट्रिक्सन्स हुनुपर्छ र एकले अर्कालाई रेस्पेक्ट गर्ने, एकले अर्कालाई आफ्नो सेक्टरको कामको लागि रेस्पेक्ट गर्ने र सपोर्ट गर्ने चाहिँ हुनुपर्छ।
Very true. Okay, so if any questions for Dr. Srijana Manandhar, please, you can have it. Dr. Rakshan Karmachari has said, Didi, you are an inspiration. And wow. Okay. मेरो आज टेक्निकल इश्यू आएर चाहिँ अलि टेन्सन भएको छ। Otherwise this
हाम्रो भ्युअर घट्नु भयो तपाईको प्रब्लमले गर्दा।
Yes, it was 18 तर पछि अलि लाइन भएछ, but I think it will be saved, ma'am. So people can still watch because a lot of our juniors has exam अहिले चाहिँ बोर्ड चलिरहेछ and they always request me कि यो चाहिँ रेकर्ड गर्नु हाल्नु भनेर, so they can look up on it. So I think with that, since we have no question, we have come to the end of all the questions, and with that we can also wrap this entire conversation. But if you have anything, ma'am, you can please have it. Otherwise, I think we are good to close this session.
Yeah, I would like to thank Bhima for giving me this opportunity to talk to all of the guys who are watching this live as well as who are going to watch this offline. And I would also like to wish good luck to all the students who are giving their board exams, including you, I guess. And again, tapaharu whatever you like, you do that. Whatever you love, you do that. अनि आफूले जुन गर्ने त्यो कुरामा चाहिँ आफूले विश्वास गर्नु पर्यो, विश्वास राख्नु पर्यो, you believe in that. अनि आफ्नो कम्पिटेन्सलाई चाहिँ सधैँ नै निखार्दै जानुपर्छ। There is no, you know what the meaning of practice is? Practice भनेको जहिले पनि you have to do every day there is something new. So every day there is something new. You have to keep learning, keep going a step forward. अनि बिस्तारै you will go towards success, one step at a time, one day at a time. तपाईं सक्सेस को नजिक हुनुहुन्छ. So I wish good luck to all of you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, and thank you so much for agreeing to do this, because I was really nervous to reach out to you, and then and thank you for like tolerating all my messages in the messenger. It was so it could be irritating, and I was like pop. But for that and for your cooperation, thank you so much. We have also Dr. Bivati and Dr. Ranjita Bastola saying thank you for this entire conversation. And I think if we have nothing more left, we can end this live session. And yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I really thoroughly enjoyed it, ma'am.
I enjoyed it myself. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Yes. Bye-bye. Thank you, ma'am. Good night.
Good night.
Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm sorry for the technical error, but yeah, That was Dr. Srijana Manandhar, Senior Veterinary Officer at National Vaccine Production Laboratory, Government of Nepal, and also the elected member of Nepal Veterinary Council, and a Pet Clinician at Patan Veterinary Clinic. I hope you guys had a good time listening to us and all the conversation that Dr. Srijana Manandhar had for us. And with that, we would end the live session. Good night and a good Saturday. Bye bye.